Hi, I'm Frank Cottrell Boyce. I wrote Cosmic, and I'm so pleased and excited that you're reading Cosmic. Pleased for you, because it is just the greatest book ever written, and I'm really happy that you're reading it. It's about going to space. When I was little, I really wanted to go to space, and it never really happened, but I think it is about time that someone from Chorlton went to space. It could be you. So I hope the book inspires you to read more books, but also to reach for the stars. And maybe when you've all read it, we could do a Zoom call or something like that. Okay. Hope you had a great summer, and I hope you love Chorlton as much as Chorlton loves you.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this online session with author Frank Cottrell Boyce. Frank's written a number of children's books, including Framed, Millions, which won the Carnegie in 2004, and also Cosmic, which is our transition text at Chorlton High School. In this session, find out what inspired Frank to write Cosmic, where he gets his ideas from, and there's also a sneak preview to the book that he's currently writing. Sit back and enjoy. Okay, so welcome to Frank. All right. Frank is both a screenwriter, which means that he writes scripts for films and things, and also he's one of my favourite children's authors. His first book was Millions. I don't think any of you had read that when we talked to you last week. But Millions won the prestigious Carnegie Award in 2004. And I remember Frank giving a quote at the time, which was that he felt like he'd gone out for a jog and ended up winning the 100 Olympic meters final. Okay, so that's what it felt like to him, to actually win that prestigious award. But that was just the start. And since then, Frank's gone on to write many more children's books, including Framed, Astounding Broccoli Boy, which is interesting because that's got a pandemic in it, actually, Sputnik's Guide to Life on Earth, the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang series, and of course Cosmic, which is our transition book at Chorlton High School. And I think, Frank, your newest book, published last month, I think under lockdown, is Runaway Robot.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Okay, so welcome, Frank.
Where the robot ran away to.
You. Oh, there's a robot that's run away. Lovely. Space seems to be quite a big theme in your books, Frank, anyway. Yeah. Space, aliens, robots. And I just wondered if you could start just maybe by introducing Cosmic.
Okay, so Cosmic, I think someone asked this question, didn't they? Let me see, hang on, was it Rosie? Rosie, give me a wave. Where's Rosie? Hi, Rosie. So,
hi. What was your inspiration for Cosmic?
The inspiration for Cosmic, which is sort of tell you what Cosmic is about, is two things. One is that a friend of my son, Cosmic is about a boy who has a great big growing spurt over the summer. So in the summer, the transition summer between little school and big school, which I think is what you're all having, he has this huge growing spurt. So at the end of the summer, he looks like a grown-up and is mistaken for a teacher and is mistaken for a grown-up. And the inspiration for that came because one of my son's friends had a massive growing spurt. And he used to call for my son Benedict after school every day and just knock on the door and go, "Hi, is Benedict playing out?" And then we went to live abroad for a year. But when we came back, Benedict was listening out for his mate knocking on the door, and the knock came on the door, but it wasn't like, it was more like a, and his friend had this massive growing spurt, so he was standing in the doorway like a giant mutant version of himself going, "Hello, is Benedict playing out?" And my little boy Benedict was like, he was huge, he was just absolutely huge. And I've always thought like the best place to start a story is with that question, wouldn't it be great if? So I immediately thought, wouldn't it be great if wouldn't it be great if you had a car that could fly? That's shitty bang bang. Wouldn't it be great if you found a bag full of money? Wouldn't it be great if you're invisible? Wouldn't it be great if you were 11 years old but you look like a grown-up? What would you do? So that was the start of it. And then
Who's
the,
going to
it's like- then the other thing that was the inspiration for it was that I'm just about old enough to remember men walking on the moon. And it was like the most thrilling and exciting thing that you could possibly ever even begin to imagine. And I thought, growing up, I know this is very hard for you to grasp, but maybe not so hard now because of what happened last week. But I thought everyone would get a chance to go to space. So I really did think I was going to be an astronaut when I'd grown up, you know. So I'd always wanted to go to space. So I think another good thing, piece of advice about writing or reading as well, is you should want to be in the place that the story happens. You know, you should want to be in Narnia. You should want to be in Middle Earth. You should want to be at Hogwarts. And I wanted to be in space. So that's where I wrote. That's why I wrote Cosmic. Thank you so much for asking, Rosie. That was a cracking question.
So, Edward, do you want to ask your question to Frank?
So, how do you get your book ideas? Do they pop up randomly, or do you have to like sit down and concentrate?
Well, they pop up. I mean, you don't need many ideas because it takes such a long time to write a book. It takes me a long, long time to write a book. But so if you've got one idea, that'll do you for a year, really. But I have a book. I have an ideas book, which is this. I'll show you now. You're in my office, by the way. This is where I write everything. This is my little world. So I have a diary. I have a big fat diary, which I keep as my normal diary with shopping lists and doctor's appointments and everything else in it. And I write ideas down on the opposite page so that they stand out a bit. So that, without being too personal, that's what's going on, like in daily life, and that'll be an idea on that side. So they're all in play. I can kind of flip through and find ideas. And sometimes, because the ideas stand, and as you can see, not many ideas. Most pages don't have ideas, but every now and then there's a tiny, tiny idea, and I leave a lot of space around it so I can add to it if it comes. So that's how I keep my ideas. It's a great question. But you know, the real answer about where ideas come from is once you start writing, other ideas come, you know? And that's the same as true of football or painting or anything else that you do, or music. You might have a kind of a phrase in your head, but if you sit at the piano and start to play it, other ideas come. And nobody plans a goal in football, do they? You don't kind of go, today I'm going to go over to the left and there's going to do this and this and that. You get on the pitch, you start playing around and ideas come to you. And writing is just like football. Ideas come to you when you're doing it.
Edward, do you do some writing yourself?
Sometimes, yeah.
And do you find it difficult to have ideas?
Yeah, it takes a while to get an idea, but once you've got an idea, it does like start going, and you get like loads more ideas.
It's like it's like growing seeds as well. When you plant a seed, like that. If you think of an idea as a seed, the seed does germinate. It's a little tiny bit, and that's very exciting. But you've really got to keep watering it and looking after it if you want it to grow.
Lovely.
Do you want to see my peas? I grow peas in my office.
Thank you.
Look at my peas. Look at my peas.
Wonderful. Edward, if you're interested in writing, Frank does an Instagram live session.
Yeah.
He's got an Instagram. I don't know whether you've got Instagram or whether you're...
Well, actually, I've put the writing lessons on YouTube now as well, so
Okay.
that people who don't have Instagram can get them.
Yes.
So maybe Chiara will send you a link.
Yeah. So maybe if Chiara does. And then it's at 10 a.m, isn't it, Frank, on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday? You're writing live on Instagram, if you do have Instagram. And you can write, and sometimes your stories can be read out by a celebrity. Or by Frank, the real celebrity. Lovely. Thanks, Edward, for that question. Joel, we've got you next. Do you want to ask your question and unmute yourself?
Yes, my question is, what was your favourite book as a child?
Now I knew you were going to ask me this, Joel. Hey, what's your poster, Joel? That's so cool. What is it? Oh, you've muted yourself, Joel, I think.
It's just an advertisement thingy.
It's very nice.
Poster thing. Okay.
I usually have all kinds of answers to that question when I'm in a school, but you're in my office, so I can physically show you these things, right? So I loved this book. This is called The Wizard of Earthsea, and it's by Ursula Le Guin. And would you believe it's about a school for wizards? And I absolutely loved everything about this book, even the typeface. But you can see how much I loved it because it's fallen to pieces. And this is my original copy that I bought for 25 pence when it was new. And the thing I really loved about it was this map. This is the map of the world that it's set in. It's called Earthsea. And as you can see, it's all islands. I just think that's a beautiful map. And I more or less memorized that map. I kind of wanted to lose myself in this book. So I love this book. This book I thought was incredibly beautiful. This is by Joan Aiken, and it's called The Kingdom Under the Sea. And it's lots of short stories. And I'd never bought a book that was so beautiful to look at before. Look at these. You can see how much I've loved it because it's now like a pack of cards. It's just in pieces. But I've still got it, even though I'm so old. And it had these amazing, amazing pictures by a guy called Jan Pienkowski. Look at that. And these just great pages. So that was a book of short stories that I really, really loved. And the other, I'm going to get you, hang on a sec. Just William, love Just William, again, all in bits. So love those books to bits. When people say I loved it to bits, I meant it.
Joel, what's your favourite book at the moment? If you unmute yourself, then you can.
It's probably a book called Scythe by Neil Skuncherman, I think.
Yeah. It's the first in a series, isn't it? And it's quite new. Did you tell me to buy it in the library? Because I think I've definitely bought it.
I think so. I don't know.
It might have been you that told me to buy it. Yeah, Scythe. Yeah. Okay.
I just noticed behind Mahmood that he's got a big atlas, and that's the other favourite book is like big atlases. So the book I'm working on at the moment is set in the Scottish Islands. So this is like this ancient atlas of the Scottish Islands. I love an atlas because you can kind of imagine yourself in all the different, kind of explore mentally, you know. So Mahmood, you and me, Atlas Brothers.
We're coming to Mahmood now. Mahmood, do you want to unmute yourself and then ask your question?
In school, were you good at writing stories?
I don't know if I was really. I don't think I was all the way through primary, but in year 6, I suddenly got interested in words. And one of my teachers did an amazing thing. I had a friend who was a very close friend all the way through school, and in year 6 he was off sick. And we weren't very good at anything. There were people in my class who were very good at football, and people in my class who were very good at music. And there was one boy in my class who was very, very good at scaring other children, and went on to do that for a living. And I was not good at anything. And my friend was off school sick, and for some reason I just put all the energy I used to put into chatting with him into a piece of work. And at the end of the lesson, my teacher looked at it and she was very surprised. And she read it out to the whole class, and that was magic. Hearing someone else read your words out and getting laughs for them, that was amazing. And it made me realize words are something you can be good at. The way some people are good at football or good at guitar or good at beating other children up or whatever, you could be good at words. And that's when I started to notice words. So I chose words instead of beating other people up, which I would have been rubbish at.
Mahmood, do you like writing stories?
Kind of.
Oh, Mahmood.
Yeah.
Just draw maps. I think you should just draw loads of maps, Mahmood. I like your atlas though.
I think it just shows though, you don't have to be good. Writing stories now can be a little bit like you have to put in a non-standard sentence, you have to put in lots of things. Miss Morgan will be looking at me saying, yes, of course, you have to tick lots of boxes. But I think the point of what Frank's saying is you can write just yourselves stories.
You don't need fancy words.
Yeah.
I say at the beginning of every one of my Instagram writing lessons, don't care about your spelling. I don't want to hear any wow words. I don't want to hear any fronted adverbials. I just want to hear a story.
Okay, so get writing, guys, and don't worry too much.
Can I read you the greatest opening line of any novel?
Yeah.
And you can see how plain and simple it is. He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff on the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without catching a fish. You're in that story, aren't you? It's called The Old Man and the Sea, and it's the best opening to any book ever.
Wonderful. I know that Saul likes writing. So Saul, you wanted to ask Frank something. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I'm not at school, I like writing scripts. Like,
oh yeah.
If I'm like gonna like make a film or something. So I was wondering how you got into that job.
Well, I like your top. That's excellent. I mean, and who's the statue on your mantelpiece? I need to know this. Who's that on your mantelpiece?
It's just me and my brother.
No, the marble one, the little bust.
It's phrenology.
Oh, okay. So the world has changed since I started film, because like when I started making films, it was very, very, very expensive, and now anyone can make a film with a phone or with a very cheap camera, and that was impossible back in the day. So it was more like getting a job, and it was a long, long time ago. Now I would say just do it. You know, write the script that you want, make the film that you want. You can always find a way. Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating making films. I need to warn you that it can take a long, long time. We were about to start shooting a film when lockdown came, and I'd been working on that film for 10 years, and now we've got to wait again. So that's not unusual. So I would say if you're interested in writing, just write your stories, and don't, you won't lose any time by writing it as a story before writing it as a script, because it takes ages as a script. And now, if I've got an original idea for a film, I'll write it as a short story before I write it as a script.
Thanks.
Frank, I just want to clarify, if you are writing a script, are you normally commissioned for that, or do you just have the idea?
A bit of both. I mean, I'm doing one at the moment that is just an idea, but I know who it's for.
Yeah.
And more often someone comes to ask you, do you want to write this thing? And that, the other thing that I'm writing, I got asked to write. And I'm working on the script of Sputnik's Guide to Life at the moment.
Oh, lovely.
Which is for DreamWorks. It's like an animated film. So that will take years and years and years and years and years. So, film is like, it does take a long time to make a movie.
And Saul, Frank also has written 2 episodes, I think it's 2 episodes, isn't it, Frank, of a Doctor Who series?
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't have to be a film. It's
No, that's true.
A TV, maybe one episode of a TV series.
Yeah.
And you did those, didn't you, Frank? Yeah.
He's got a big old map on the world as well. That's good.
Are you writing a story at the moment? And if you are, can you tell us anything about it?
Okay, so I am writing, this is my new book. Oh, I can't see me. Can you see this? Okay, so I write in a big old book with a pen so that I don't get distracted by the internet. And I'm writing at the moment. And you can see how decisive I am about the title, that you can see that I've had to rip the thing up about 15 times as I keep changing the title. And it keeps changing, but it's basically, it's about treasure, really. And actually, it's got one big idea in it, which is that all the mobile phones in the world have stopped working. So they're using maps, but they have to use proper old-fashioned maps.
What would we do without our mobile phones?
No, it's interesting.
You've talked about films taking a long time, Frank. How long does a book take? You've obviously got that, you're handwriting it, not writing it on the computer.
Takes about a year. It should take about a year. It always takes me a bit longer, but it depends on who you are and how you work. I've been reading lots of books by Georges Simenon, who wrote the Maigret books. He used to write 4 books a year, every year. So, like, as does Michael Morpurgo, I think.
And you would prefer to handwrite it rather than write it on the.
It's a way of like making it keeping it fun, because sitting at a computer feels like work, and also you're very distracted very easily. So writing it in a book makes all the difference, and I can go and sit in the garden. But I get terrified that I'll lose the book. So after I've written a page, I take a photograph of it, or I speak the page into a dictaphone so that there's another copy somewhere.
Have you ever written a comic book or a short?
Comic?
Yeah.
I love comics. I did try to write a comic for, there's a great comic called The Phoenix. Do you know The Phoenix? Have you come across The Phoenix? Do you get The Phoenix in the library?
Yeah.
I wanted to write a strip for that, but it didn't quite work out. But yeah, I do love a good comic. Do you read comics, Mahmood?
Yeah.
Which ones do you read?
I read My Hero Academia and The Avatar.
Oh, right, Avatar. Good choices. I remember your library having lots of good comics in it, so you're lucky.
And Edward, did you want to say something?
Yeah. What's your favourite book that you've written?
They're all different, you know. It's always the one that you're writing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be writing it if you didn't think it was better than all the other ones. But I really loved writing Cosmic because in my mind, it took me to space, which is where I've always wanted to be. And I'm very, very fond of Runaway Robot because I love Eric the Robot. He's such a nice guy. He's making me say this. I don't want to say it. I'm a hostage to Eric the Robot. Get me out of here. Help, help, help. No, it's a cracking book. I'm really proud of Eric and the Runaway Robot. So if you do that, let me know and we can Zoom again.
Thank you.
Well, Frank, can I just say a huge thank you from Chorlton High School and from all of us here, from all our students, for this session. Thank you so much. It's been.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to deal with Chorlton. You're such a great school and a cracking library.
So thank you everybody for joining us this this lunchtime, and have a really good afternoon. Yeah, and be inspired. Be inspired to write, and like Frank said, don't worry about your spelling.
No, nobody cares.
Get some ideas down, yeah? Think about what you'd like to write.
Get it down, you can make it good later.
Yeah, that's right, get something down. And also get inspired to read some of Frank's books. They are really, really good.
They are the best.
Books. Wonderful books to read. So if you haven't read anything else, have a look on BorrowBox or on Sora this afternoon and read them. Okay. All right.
I'm going to blast off now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Frank, so much.
Thanks.